conditions of care, program development, and older worker programs and issues. She's also presented at the ARC, Avoid Readmissions Through Collaboration, Partners in Care Patient and Family Centered Care Annual Conference, and Shining Stars in Healthcare. She's also active in a variety of committees, including the San Mateo County Age-Friendly Core Leadership Conference, the Sequoia Hospital Community Advisory Committee, the New Beginning Coalition Steering Committee, the San Mateo Dementia Support Services Advisory Committee, the San Mateo County Continuum of Care, name the committee, and she's involved in it. Welcome, Susan Houston.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Can you see me back here? Okay. Thank you. It's great to be here. It's a wonderful setting, and it's really nice to meet all of you. A lot of friendly faces. Thank you so much. What were the current programs that we're operating now with Peninsula Family Service for older adults? And I say older adults instead of seniors because a lot of people who are baby boomers don't like to be called seniors. So we say older adults, or we even say people over 55 or people 60 and older to categorize the group of people that we work with. We have a senior peer counseling program where we train people 55 and older to be peer counselors for those who can benefit from it in the community. We're starting a class in English on Tuesday, and they go through 35 hours of training, learning about resources in the community, dealing with grief, how to basic counseling skills, how to set boundaries with people. Once they're trained, we match them up with somebody in the community who could benefit from it. We have peer counselors who speak English, Spanish, Farsi, I think Italian, Mandarin, Cantonese, a lot of different languages. We also have an LGBT component to work with people in that population, and we're members with the Pride Center in San Mateo. Does everyone know where the Pride Center is? Right on El Camino?
Yes.
And 11th? Yeah, it's a great program. So we have a staff person who provides services there for older adults within the Pride Center. We also run Fair Oaks Adult Activity Center in Redwood City. It's a wellness program. It used to be called a senior center, but everything we do there is really focused on wellness to help people who really can't afford, for instance, to go to a fancy gym to stay healthy. We have yoga, tai chi, soul line dance, exercise classes every day. We work with a group of master gardeners, and we have a beautiful organic garden. We have a computer lab, healthy breakfast, healthy lunch, a lot of different activities to keep people active. We serve in our programs over 4,000 people a year through Peninsula Family Service. So today I'm going to talk about what does it mean to age well in the community. And my ideas come from my experience in the field, and I've actually been in the field for more than 30 years. Rob was very generous saying 20, but 30 years. So it's based on a lot of what I've learned, but it's also based on the Blue Zones. Has anyone heard of the Blue Zones before? So it was Dan Buettner did a study, and it was actually in National Geographic magazine. It was an article based on this study in 2005. He identified 5 geographic areas where people live longer. Some of these areas are Okinawa, Sardinia, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Ikaria, Greece, and the 7-day Adventist members in Loma Linda, California. So, people inhabiting these blue zones share common lifestyles that contribute to their longevity. This is very interesting. And so we're going to talk about these different domains, starting with health. So what does it mean in this domain to age well in place? You have access to good health care. You have, and living in this area, we have great health care. Some areas we don't. If you live in rural areas, sorry, I'm blocking you.
That's okay.
If you live in rural areas, sometimes it's even hard to get to the doctor. You have a good relationship with your health care provider. And if you don't have a good relationship, just find a new provider. You are an important part of your health care team, and you have an active role. So many older adults will go into, and you're a dentist, so They just say, whatever you say, yeah, that's fine, and they don't ask questions. It's really important to be involved in the process, understand if you happen to be hospitalized, you get the discharge papers and you read them and you understand them, and if you don't understand them, you ask questions. If you're taking medications, you find out what they're for, you know what to, when to take them. If you have some kind of condition and there are red flags that show you that maybe something's getting worse, you know what to do about it. So that's all part of being part of your healthcare team. You have completed an advanced healthcare directive. How many people in here have completed? Yay, good. Can someone tell me what an advanced healthcare directive is? Rob, I'll pick on you.
Well, if you get to a point in your life where you are having, well, basically, if something happens to you, you can't tell the doctor what's going on. You've indicated for care decisions. You have somebody who can do that for you, and/or as part of it. For example, if I get to a certain point, I don't want extended care. Just let me go, right? So you have your wishes laid out so that you don't have, which often happens, particularly with older individuals. You get the family, you get the kids, everybody. There's no directive, and all of a sudden everybody fights about what happens here. No, we're going to keep them on life support. We're not going to keep them on life support. So you want to make sure that happens. So you decide while you're still here, what's going to happen.
Right. So, and it's really a great tool for families. And everything's laid out there. We don't have to guess about what the person wants.
So it's their wishes.
It's their wishes, basically. And it's really, really important to understand the different steps. For instance, I know someone right now who has a sister who's in a coma, and she's been in a coma for several months, and she has a feeding tube, and that's just her life. She's just in the hospital, and anyway. So it's good to understand what your wishes are, and it's also important, once you complete that advanced healthcare directive, to give it to your physician, and also bring it to the hospital, or send it to the hospital so they know. Yes?
Who writes that up, or where do you get that from?
You can get it online. I would be happy to share with
your doctor will provide you with the document if you need it.
If you go to the hospital, once you're admitted, you'll have to fill one out too. They want it. So it's part of the process at this point. It's really good. And then people who are more advanced, aging, a lot of times they have something called a pulse, which they put on their refrigerator. It's this bright pink thing. It's a physician order for physician order that a physician actually has to sign. So when the EMT comes in to pick somebody up, they see it there and they know right there what to do, and they know your wishes. So it's also good to update it once in a while.
So that doesn't have to be notarized or anything like that? I mean, does it have
So
to be?
pulse has to be signed by a physician.
Okay.
The advanced healthcare directive, no. And a lot of people have, if they don't speak English, there are advanced healthcare directives in their native language, but the thing is you have to have it in the native language and also in English, so whoever's reading it can understand. Also, fall prevention. Falls can cause people to become dependent very quickly. Does anyone know what are some of the things you can do to prevent falls? Yes?
Bubble wrap.
What? Bubble wrap? There you go, that's one. What else? Handrails, grab bars in the bathroom, in the shower, things like that. Yeah, so that's good. Also, taking exercise classes. Tai Chi has been proven to help people prevent falls because you're dealing with balance. Environment. So the environment needs to be age-friendly, starting with your home. Rob and I had our last CEO, Arnie Croce, many of you might know him, just finished building his forever home. So it's a home where you can live forever. It's one level. There aren't a lot of stairs. There aren't any stairs probably. There's great lighting. You have pools for your drawers that are easy to use. So the home needs to be age-friendly. Lack of clutter. Easy to reach things without climbing on chairs or ladders. That's how a lot of people fall. Okay. Safe, walkable neighborhoods. You have access to food, pharmacy, healthcare nearby, so you can get to it. All the services you need are available, and you have a way to get out of the house and get to wherever you want to go. So a lot of older adults stop driving. So there are some types of transportation that you can take that are pretty easy. Most people want on-demand. There's Ready Wheels, a paratransit program. There's Silver Sneakers, where they have limos that pick you up and you pay $100 a ride. But do you know any of the other programs that they have out there? Some people, some baby boomers use Lyft or Uber. There's a program called Go-Go Grandparent, where you just call in. I know, I hate the name. So the guy designed it for his grandmother because she couldn't get out, she stopped driving. But you, they have the Uber or Lyft platform. You just call up and you say, oh, I need a ride to go to, you've already registered, but I need a ride to go to my hairdresser. And then they contact the Lyft for you, Lyft picks the person up, and then brings them home from the hairdresser. So it's a great program too. What else? Walkable neighborhoods, good sidewalks, good lighting at night is very important. Types of housing for older adults. Independent living or on his own home, where there are a lot of senior housing in the area. A lot of them are pretty expensive. Assisted living, that's for people who need help with their daily living tasks. Boarding care homes, where they're usually more of a home environment with 6 to 12 residents, where people get help with their daily living skills. Memory care for people with dementia. Skilled nursing facility, where someone really needs around-the-clock care. And continuum of care facilities or residents. And that's where people can go from independent living all the way through skilled nursing without moving. So I think those are the best, if you can afford it, the best types of environments as you decide to move from your home. In this area, there's a continuum of care in Los Altos or Pochola Valley called the Sequoias, and another really fancy one near Stanford called the V. I think it's like $5 million to move in. It's really expensive to age. Okay? Finances. Basically, you need to have enough money to live until you die, right? It's, and then you have to decide, can you stay in this area? Can you afford to stay in this area? If you need to stay in this area, what do you have to do? Yeah. It's important to meet with a financial advisor, plan it out, weigh in advance, and determine what you need to do to make the money last. Maybe you can bring in someone to live with you, a roommate. There's a great program with Human Investment Program, HIP Housing, where you can do that. Maybe you need to move to an area where it's less expensive, but then you're leaving your physician, your friends, everything. It's hard to readjust as you age. So it's something to think about. Physical and emotional support. Everybody needs that. So who are you going to call? A handy person? How many people have a handy person? I know in our neighborhood, we have one guy that everybody in the neighborhood calls. So it's good, especially if you live alone, to have somebody who can do tasks like that. Have you guys heard of the Village movement? So it's a program started outside of Boston, where older adults get together and they decide, well, we want to age in place and we want to put together services so that we can do that. A lot of it's volunteer-based. It's a membership, so you pay every year to belong to a village. There are a lot of social activities. There are vetted services. For instance, they've worked with home care agencies, so they know good ones that they can bring in. But a lot of village people or members really rely on the volunteer services, people to drive them to doctor's appointments, people to come in and change the light bulbs, things like that. So that's another way to get both physical and emotional support. Family support or friends, you have family or friends in the area. Senior peer counseling, that's one of the programs we run. where they meet once a week with somebody in the community. I wanted to just say a few words about the impact of isolation on health. They say that being isolated, especially as you age, has the same impact on your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day or 5 alcoholic drinks. So figure out what that does to your body. And just being isolated has the same effect. So it's really important to get out into the community, do something. This kind of activity, being in a Rotary, is great. But there's other things you can do too. As you age, a lot of people, it's harder to make friends too. So what do? I've seen people get into a class, it could be any kind of class, and that's a really great way to make friends. I go to yoga every Saturday, and now I have somebody who saves my spot in yoga. But I've even seen people like start dating, end up sharing homes just from different classes. There's something in Blue Zones called the right tribe, and that basically means choose social circles that support healthy behavior. So instead of like going to a bar where you can make friends, maybe doing something like yoga, something a little healthier, right? Spirituality. From Blue Zones, they say that if you have practiced some type of spirituality, you'll be healthier. And that's basically the definition of spirituality. It doesn't mean you have to go to a church. Some people find spirituality in nature. Exercise and good, healthy food. So they say in Blue Zones, get up and move naturally. Doesn't mean you have to run a marathon, Rob. And, and they show, a lot of times you'll see, oh, this 90-year-old just finished running a marathon or swimming to Hawaii, whatever. It's just basically do something to move naturally. And one of the best exercises they say for older adults is walking, because it's also really good for your brain too, cognitively. So get up and take a walk. The 80% rule. That means that you eat until you're 80% full. You don't want to eat till you're really full. 80%, so you're still a little bit hungry when you finish.
That way, you leave room for a little wine with friends.
There you go. Exactly.
A little.
That plant-based. That basically means eat mostly plant-based foods, eat real foods, and not big portions, and a little wine with friends. They find that if you do drink a little wine, you'll live longer. And that's based on the Blue Zones.
And you define a little.
Well, they say it's for women, 1 glass a day of wine.
Phooey.
And men, 2 glasses. I think that was the last I heard. But then when I gave this presentation on Los Altos recently, they said there was a new study that had just come out saying, no, you shouldn't drink any alcohol. But they do say that people do live longer if they drink a little bit of wine. Reason to get up in the morning. It's really important to have some sense of purpose in your life. It could be work. We have a great Second Careers program. A hobby. Some kind of passion or volunteering. It's really important. I was recently in Pancho Villas, and there was a long line. The lady behind me was in that area. She was visiting a doctor. She was 91 years old. She makes wine, and she's actually won awards. My flamenco dance teacher is 87 years old, and it keeps her going. It's amazing.
Can we go back to the wine lady? That is why she's, never mind.
You know you're being taped.
Oh, that's right. Okay. A volunteer position, working for a political cause, getting out of the house. Volunteering is actually really good for your health. So all of the different activities as you do.
We're all healthy.
Helps you stay healthy. Resources to age well. Help at Home booklet, and there's some in the back there. That orange booklet has a lot of the different resources in San Mateo County. Information and assistance. We have an information and assistance program where you can call and ask any kind of question. It's also in that Help at Home book. going on Yelp, Google, Nextdoor, other social media, the villages that I mentioned earlier, asking your friends, reading Be Immortal. Has anyone read that book by Atul Gawande? He's kind of my guru. It's a wonderful book. It was on the bestseller list for a while, just about what's important to you as you age. And it's a great website for a nursing home comparing. Got it? And that's my contact information if you have any questions. Any questions?
Great, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Rob, for inviting me.